Yeah,
when you're ready.
Hi folks, Jay from Broken Arrow here today. We've had a few people come into the shop lately, newcomers to archery, that have been asking about questions about waxing their bowstring. So, like how long, how often you should do it, and how you go about doing it. So, I thought I'd give you a quick demo here. I've got my trusty old tube of wax that I've had for about 20 or 30 years, and I've got a little, I'll hold this, a little strap that I use. I don't know if you can see this, but this is, I've waxed bows for 20 or 30 years with this. So it's just like a nylon strap that I use to, rather than using my fingers to rub the wax in the string, I'll use this to create a little bit of heat. So, okay, so yeah, you get your wax. Now on your bowstring, you'll see parts of your string have been served. So the parts that run, this green part here, they're serving over the string that runs around the cams and all the things. So that's protecting the string already. So what we want to wax the parts is just the bare string. Now these strings, there's a little bit of serving there. We don't need to wax that. Again, bare string there, up there around the peak, up to there. And then the two cables until where we're not served. So there's no point putting wax on where the serving is, the string's already protected. So I just rub a bit of wax up and down all those parts. Work your way up, from the top to the bottom and bottom to the top. Yeah. So you see I'm just applying a little bit of wax there so that I can rub it into the strings. So that's all the spots that I need to rub the wax into. Put that down. So what you would normally do is you can either use your fingers, right, and just rub it into the strings like that. So these strings here, there's, depending on who makes them, whether there's say 20 to 24 strands of fibre in there. And what we're doing with the wax is putting a little coating of protection on there, so it seals them for moisture. It also seals them for dust getting in between the fibres, because those fibres, as you draw and shoot, all rub together, and that creates friction, and if there's dust and dirt in there, they start to wear fairly quickly. So by waxing your string, you're protecting it from all those elements. So I just use this bit of strap, wrap it around like that, and rub it up and down a few times. So all I'm doing there is generating enough heat to melt the wax, and then force it into the fibres a little bit. So just run that up and down there. So everywhere where you've applied the wax, which is the bare string, down there. And nice bit up the top here. Right. So that's that waxed, and you'll feel the difference straight away. It'll feel much more smoother, slippery, and it'll get rid of any loose fibres that are hanging out where there is wear. It will start to get bedded back into the string. Now, with how often you wax your strings, so that's a bit of a hard one to answer. I have different bows that I have set up for different disciplines. So my indoor bow, I would only wax it probably once a year, because it sits here in an air-conditioned shop, and it gets shot once a week, twice a week or whatever. But I'll just give it wax in it once a year just to protect the strings, because there's not much dust here, there's no real heat. My 3D bow, for example, so I'm using that out in the bush, and it's getting leaned against trees and put down in the dirt, all that sort of thing. I'd wax that probably every 2 months or so. If you're doing a 3D shoot every month or something like that, so every other time you do a 3D shoot, just go over your strings, give them a wax. Target archery bows, same sort of thing. They're not really suffering much. It depends on, I guess, what the range is like, but the heat's the biggest thing for a target bow. I would do that same thing probably 4 times a year, wax the strings, and yeah, a bit of protection. If you're hunting bows, I'd probably wax them every time I go out, because they get put down in the dirt, and if you've got a kill, for example, you're just going to put the bow down and go about your business, cleaning up the animal. So they're going to get knocked about. So the best protection you can put on is wax them every time you go out and have a shoot. All right, so I hope that helps you out. Pretty easy job to do, and a good job to keep your strings looking in good condition. Thank you.